Islands of Adventure has long been Universal's crowning jewel, famous for its jaw-dropping coasters and immersive lands that let you step into iconic tales, from the Hulk coasters roar overhead to the spellbinding streets of Hogsmeade Village. Whilst the new Universal Park has entered the conversation, it'll take a lot to outshine this park's legacy for legendary theming and thrills. Hi, I'm the Frugal Brit, and in this video I'll be showing you all the rides and attractions that Islands of Adventure 2025 has to offer. Without further ado, let's dive in. Our journey begins in City Walk, under the watchful eye of the Pharos Lighthouse, which stands near the park's entrance. Stepping through the gates nearby, you'll enter into the Port of Entry, which is the first of 8 lands that we'll be exploring in this video, each providing their own unique thrills and experiences. Port of Entry transports guests to a bustling port town where traders, explorers, and travellers from across the globe gather to exchange goods and stories. As you pass under the final archway, the view opens dramatically to reveal the Islands of Adventure Lagoon, surrounded by the park's different islands which we're about to explore. We'll begin the attraction tour in Marvel Superhero Island to the east of Port of Entry. Greeted by the roars of its headliner coaster above you, the path takes you into Stanley Boulevard, where the comic book pages come to life, surrounded by bold, exaggerated architecture and colourful murals. As you explore, keep an eye out for some of your favourite Marvel characters like Captain America, Wolverine and Storm, all eager to pose for photos. You might also come across legendary villains like Doctor Doom and Green Goblin. For our first ride, we'll head to the Incredible Hulk coaster, famous for its roaring speeds and thrilling inversions. The experience begins as you queue through the high-tech laboratory, where you're immersed into Dr. Bruce Banner's experiments. Riders board as willing participants, but things quickly go wrong, and you launch from 0 to 40 miles per hour in 2 seconds, sending you into a 0G roll, giving you a moment of weightlessness before plunging 105 feet toward the ground. The coaster then accelerates to its top speed of 67 miles per hour as it hurls into a dramatic cobra roll over the lagoon. From here, you'll be thrown into a vertical loop over the bridge from Port of Entry and into a mist-filled subterranean tunnel before the train encircles the station. You'll then dive into a tight corkscrew, immediately followed by another vertical loop. The ride continues through the park's landscape, with more spirals and sharp turns to follow. As you've probably gathered, Hulk is not for the faint of heart, but for thrill seekers, an absolute must ride. For something a little less intense, next up is the Storm Force Accelatron, a classic teacup style spinner, where the faster you spin, the more energy you generate for Storm to combat Magneto. As we continue along Stanley Boulevard, there's a left turn for Yancey Street, home to the Doctor Doom's Fearfall Tower Launch Ride, another attraction which dominates Universal Skyline. Guests queue through Doctor Doom's lair, where he plans to extract fear from riders to power his latest weapon. Riders are seated in open gondolas and launched 185 feet into the air at speeds reaching 40 miles per hour. After the initial ascent, there's a brief moment of weightlessness, followed by a series of smaller bounces, providing panoramic views of the park. Next, we have the amazing adventures of Spiderman, the groundbreaking 3D motion simulator. The experience begins as you step into the bustling Daily Bugle newsroom as aspiring reporters, where the newsroom is alive with reports about the sinister syndicate's plans. You'll pick up your 3D glasses, then board the high-tech scoop vehicles before venturing through the streets of Manhattan. Spidey warns you of the dangers before riders experience an impressive mix of motion simulation, 3D visuals, physical sets and special effects. The highlight is a gravity-defying encounter with Dr. Octopus. He launches you 400 feet above the city, ending with a free fall rescued by Spidey's webs. Leaving the Marvel action behind, next we'll head north for the TOON Lagoon Island on the western side of the park, a vibrant water-themed area that celebrates the bold, exaggerated style of vintage newspaper comic strips, with colourful facades, splash zones, fountains, and other nautical elements enhancing the lively atmosphere. Our first stop is Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls, a thrilling flume ride with coaster-style elements inspired by the Dudley Do-Right cartoon. The adventure begins in Snidely Whiplash's theatre hideout. Once aboard, you'll stretch your legs out in front and set off through a black and white forest. Along the way, Dudley's clumsy attempts to save the day unfold through modest, mostly static scenes and a series of small to medium drops. The excitement then builds as you ascend the steep lift hill, passing under a drenching waterfall. At the top, you'll encounter a cartoon armoury and then a dynamite shack that erupts with a bang, propelling your log down a dramatic 75-foot drop at high speeds, where you'll splash down into a large pool of water, creating a fantastic spectacle for onlookers on the bridge who have access to water cannons. As the ride winds down, you'll drift back into the loading station, with Dudley and his horse celebrated for their heroics. Next, we'll head to the Popeye statue and cross the eastbound bridge to arrive at Popeye and Bluto's Bilge Barges, widely regarded as the wettest ride in Orlando. The queue starts with Popeye's Paradise Cruises, but as you proceed, you'll notice the entrance is closed, leading you to a detour into Bluto's entrance, featuring various cartoon nautical elements scattered throughout. Once aboard the 12-person raft, your adventure begins with a small drop, taking you under 2 pedestrian bridges that provide a mini shower to give you a taste of what lies ahead. Soon you'll find yourself floating down the Hurricane River, its turbulent waters surrounded by canyon-like walls. The action ramps up when your raft approaches a shipwrecked boat, where a massive funnel dumps a powerful stream of water onto unfortunate riders, delivering one of the most aggressive water ride drenchings you'll likely come across. The journey continues past the ship showing signs of hull damage. Up top, onlookers armed with water cannons gleefully aim straight for your raft. Next, you'll approach an industrial-looking water pump that sprays riders before floating into a dimly lit cave. Inside, you'll discover a giant octopus clutching hold of Popeye. Emerging from the cave, your raft ascends a conveyor belt into the boat washing machine, with water spraying in every direction. Rounding the corner, you'll encounter a model of Popeye fueled up on spinach, ready for a showdown with Bluto. From there, you'll drift back to the rotating platform, completely soaked, but thoroughly entertained. Finally, we come to Me Ship the Olive, a multi-level interactive playground resembling a ship, packed with climbing nets, multiple slides, various interactive features. As we've already seen, the second deck houses free water cannons for the chance to squirt unsuspecting riders, and its upper deck offering panoramic views of the park. Located just above TOON Lagoon on the west side of the map is the compact Skull Island, which transports guests into the mysterious world of King Kong, containing ancient ruins adorned with skulls and dense jungle foliage. The centrepiece and sole attraction of Skull Island is Reign of Kong, entered via its imposing gorilla-shaped gateway. You'll queue through ancient temple ruins, surrounded by flickering torches, skulls, and eerie chants. At the loading station, you'll board a massive trackless expedition vehicle, which takes you deep into a network of caves and caverns, filled with prehistoric creatures portrayed through a combination of physical sets and screen projections surrounding the vehicle on all sides. The climax involving a battle between a ferocious T-Rex and the mighty King Kong. Just when you think the danger is over, you'll come face to face with a giant animatronic Kong, the most impressive part of the attraction. Next, we're going to jump over to the opposite side of the park for a place that's entirely skullless, which is Seuss Landing next to Port of Entry, where guests are immersed into the Seussian universe with its dazzling colours and fantastical architecture, and the deliberate absence of straight lines, with everything either curvy or wonky. As you explore, you'll encounter Seuss characters singing and dancing through their stories in live performances, with opportunities to meet them after the show. Little ones have the If I Ran the Zoo area, an interactive playground where kids can climb, crawl, and explore as they discover imaginative creatures. Next, we have the Cat in the Hat dark ride, housed inside the cat's enormous striped hat. Guests board cosy couch-like vehicles and embark on a journey through chaotic yet hilarious scenes as the cat, the fish, and Thing 1 and 2 wreak havoc in the house. Just when things seem hopeless, the cat returns with a machine to clean up the mess. Next, we have the Caro-Seuss-El for a playful twist on the classic merry-go-round. Instead of horses, you'll climb Seussian creatures with interactive elements. Moving on, we have the One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish, where you'll control your fish-shaped vehicle, riding and dipping as you follow the directions of a song which guides you on how to avoid streams of water. Finally, we have the High in the Sky Seuss Trolley Train Ride, an elevated train journey through Seuss Landing. Guests board colourful trolley cars that glide along a twin track, with each one offering a different route. The turquoise track passes through the Circus McGurkus Cafe Stupendous, giving passengers a peek at its vibrant interior. Both tracks treat guests to impressive views of Seuss Landing and glimpses of other areas of the park. Along the way, you'll encounter animatronic characters and be entertained by playful rhymes and stories from Dr. Seuss. Next, we'll head north for the Lost Continent, nestled between Seuss Landing and Hogsmeade, a realm that's steeped in myths and legends, inspired by Middle Eastern, Greek, and Mediterranean influences. But it's much smaller than it used to be since the Harry Potter expansion. Its sole attraction for a while was the Poseidon's Fury walkthrough experience, but it's been closed for several years now, with no news on a replacement, which has sparked a lot of speculation. For now, the Mystic Fountain carries the weight of entertaining guests with its playful banter. Despite the lack of attraction, the Lost Continent still contains Mythos, which is Universal's flagship restaurant, hailed by many as the best you'll find in a theme park. Leaving the Lost Continent behind, we'll step westward into the enchanting village of Hogsmeade, part of Universal's Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Whether entering from the eastern or the western archways, you'll be immediately immersed with snow-capped rooftops and cobblestone streets. capturing the essence of Britain's only all-wizarding village. Along these streets, shops like Honeydukes invite you to explore their array of magical sweets, while Dervish and Banges brims with wizarding equipment, like the interactive wands which you can use at the interactive spell spots, bringing the storefronts to life with a flick of the wrist. When it's time to refuel, the Three Broomsticks pub serves up traditional British fare in a cosy rustic setting, where you can sip on frothy butterbeer while enjoying the atmosphere underneath the imposing centrepiece of Hogsmeade, which is of course Hogwarts Castle, with its towering spires and intricate architecture, visible from nearly every corner of the park, serving as the magical symbol of the wizarding world. But it's more than just a stunning facade. It holds the Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey motion-based dark ride. Stepping inside, the queue becomes an immersive journey through some of the castle's most renowned locations. You'll wind through the greenhouse, the Defence Against the Arts classroom with special cameos, Dumbledore's office, and throughout the castle, the enchanted portraits come to life with their animated conversations. Towards the end of the queue, a sorting hat offers final words of wisdom before you board. Guests are then seated on enchanted benches that whisk you through a series of captivating scenes. You'll soar above the castle grounds, join in a thrilling Quidditch match, and come face to face with creatures like the Hungarian Horntail Dragon and the Dementors, masterfully combining motion simulation with physical sets and practical effects. A great attraction, but be warned, the nausea-inducing motion effects will test even the bravest witches and wizards. On select evenings, when exiting the ride, the walls of Hogwarts Castle come alive with the all-new Hogwarts Castle Nighttime Spectacular, celebrating iconic school moments with the new London Symphony score. A short walk from the castle, there's a branch of the Ollivander's Wand Shop, where a random guest is chosen to participate in the wand-choosing ceremony, closely following the scene from the first movie. Around the corner opposite the castle, you'll find the family-friendly Flight of the Hippogriff Junior coaster. Its queue winds past the charming recreation of Hagrid's hut, setting the scene before you climb aboard a hippogriff-shaped vehicle. The ride offers a gentle ascent above the watchful eye of Buckbeak. At the top, you'll enjoy lovely views of the castle before the coaster spirals and dives around the pumpkin patch, swooping past Hagrid's hut, offering a series of gentle dips and turns before completing the circuit back at the loading station. Around the bend, the stage for the Frog Choir presents a performance featuring the singing frogs and robed choristers. Additionally, the Triwizard Spirit Rally brings together students from the 3 schools, showcasing their bravery and talents, celebrating the Triwizard Tournament in grand fashion. Next, we'll venture deeper into the wizarding world for one of the park's true super headliners, which is Hagrid's Magical Creatures motorbike adventure. You'll queue under the canopy of the Forbidden Forest, with the sounds of motorbikes roaring past you. Then you'll wind past Hagrid's hut again, before arriving at the castle ruins. Within these time-worn corridors lie intriguing magical artifacts, guiding you deeper into the backstory. Once inside, you'll choose your seat, then brace yourself for a sudden rush of speed. The powerful onboard audio roars like a genuine motor, heightening every twist and turn as you rocket along the forest path. After passing by Hagrid's hut, you'll encounter Hagrid tending to his magical creatures. It's renowned for its record-breaking 7 launches and the title of Florida's longest coaster. The biggest thrills are around the corner. Midway through, you'll race up a towering vertical spike, only to stall out and hurl back at 44 miles per hour. Then comes the dramatic encounter with a centaur, followed by a sudden plunge into a dimly lit cave full of glowing blast-ended scroots. Emerging from the darkness, you'll prepare for the most intense launch yet. The adventure draws to a close within the abandoned castle, where Hagrid offers a warm farewell. Rounding off the Wizarding World attractions is the Hogwarts Express, a unique transportation ride connecting Islands of Adventure with its sister park, as covered in my Universal Studios video. While the Hogsmeade station may not include the famed platform 9 3/4 from King's Cross, you can watch the train pull into the station. The journey itself is distinct, featuring a different set of scenes and characters, making it worth experiencing in both directions for a full story. As we move beyond Hogsmeade, we'll head over to the lush terrain of Jurassic Park in the northwest corner. Upon entering through the massive stone gate, visitors are surrounded by a tropical environment teeming with dense vegetation and the echoes of distant unseen creatures, immersing guests into the atmosphere of Isla Nublar. Central to the theming is the Jurassic Park Discovery Centre, a recreation of the visitor centre from the original movie. This facility offers interactive exhibits, life-size dinosaur replicas, and educational experience that delve into the science of paleontology and genetics. Plus, you might get the chance to see a raptor hatch if you're lucky. To the west of the map lies Camp Jurassic, a mini excursion inside thick jungle foliage, the perfect playground for little explorers, offering a maze of winding pathways hidden among tropical greenery. Visitors can navigate through dark caves and amber mines for a subterranean adventure. High above, suspension bridges allow daring guests to get a bird's eye view of the action. Plenty of opportunities for adventure, with climbing nets, slides, and water cannons. The main attraction in this subland is the Pteranodon Flyers Kid Suspended Coaster, which only a combo of one adult and one child can ride. At the time of making this video, it's been closed for quite some time, but is expected to open very soon. Once it does reopen, those patient enough to endure the long lines will find themselves strapped into two-person Pteranodon-shaped ride vehicles, rising up to 60 feet in the air over Camp Jurassic with their feet dangling, whizzing past Skull Island and weaving through the park's thick canopy and thatched rooftops before touching down next to Jurassic Park's flagship coaster, which we'll be covering later in the video. A few steps away from Camp Jurassic is the Jurassic Park River Adventure Raft ride that puts you face to face with the dinosaurs in a setting themed to the first Jurassic Park movie. Guests climb aboard the yellow, open-sided vehicles and set off on a deceptively peaceful cruise through tropical waterways. Before long, the boats approach the massive wooden gates framed by huge stone columns, which slowly open to reveal the Ultrasaur Lagoon, where the Ultrasaur animatronic emerges. The journey continues into Stegosaur Springs, where a family of Stegosauri can be seen grazing peacefully. But the calm is short-lived as your raft is abruptly knocked off course toward the raptor containment area, an off-limits zone where carnivorous dinosaurs have broken free. Riders are led onto a frightening climb into the water treatment plant, where flickering lights and ominous sounds heighten the suspense. Around the bend, a massive T-Rex lunges toward the raft, its jaws just feet away from riders. The raft then makes a dramatic 85-foot plunge, sending riders into a thrilling freefall, which sends up a colossal wall of white spray that drenches the surrounding cliffs and mists any onlookers brave enough to stand in the designated soak zone. Those seated in the middle of the raft typically emerge the driest, but no seat is truly safe from the splash. Just a short walk from River Adventure is Raptor Encounter, which is a twist on the usual theme park meet and greet, as guests come face to face with Blue, the trained yet still intimidating Velociraptor from the Jurassic World movies. At certain times, you might also be able to meet a baby Velociraptor, offering a more playful interaction. Next door to the Discovery Center is Florida's tallest and fastest launch coaster, which is of course Jurassic World VelociCoaster. Since its debut in 2021, it's shared the spotlight with Hagrid's as the super headliner for the park. Guests queue through a futuristic paddock with glowing neon lights, set before the events of the original Jurassic World movie. Deeper inside, windows overlook the track, showing Velociraptors hot on the coaster train's heels. There's also impressive animatronic raptors muzzled in cages to keep guests safe. In the final pre-show, Claire Dearing promotes the new attraction, while Owen questions its safety. Once you're boarded and strapped in, you'll glide into the first launch. As the countdown hits 0, you're catapulted from 0 to 50 miles per hour in just 2 seconds, into a fancy loop, then winding through intricate rockwork and foliage, immersing riders into the carefully crafted prehistoric environment. After a series of sharp twists and turns, a second launch accelerates riders to 70 miles per hour in just 2.5 seconds. Then emerging from the tunnel, the train rises to its highest point, a towering 155-foot tall top hat, the most iconic moment of the ride, before plummeting down at an 80-degree angle, before snapping left into a 100-foot long zero-G stall, then twisting and turning through overbank turns and airtime hills, before the ride's grand finale, the Mosasaurus roll, a heartline roll that inverts riders over water at 53 miles per hour, the ride's second signature element, which can be seen from the opposite side of the lagoon. A final off-axis airtime hill completes the circuit before the train slows on the brake run. Well, that wraps up my tour of Islands of Adventure. Thanks for watching. If you're planning a trip to Orlando anytime soon, I recommend watching these videos next.